Good morning. Having a look at the US markets on Friday, where we did see strength yet again in the markets. It was a bit of a tough week, a lot of news coming through, a lot of the struggles from Europe impacting the US and the Australian markets here at home last week. But we did see some of that concern easing over Friday's session. We now know that there is going to be a new government being formed in Italy. We also know a little bit more about what's going to happen in Spain. And it does look like some of those struggling banks in Italy might look at mergers with some of the stronger giants from Europe. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it does look like we'll hear more of UniCredit and also SocGen looking at a possible merger. This has been on the cards for some time, but it would actually strengthen that banking system. Now, if we have a look at the US markets, of course, the biggest news story was the non-farm payroll numbers, the all-important job data. There was some other pieces of information being released on the economic front which were also positive, but we did see 227,000 jobs being created in May. Their unemployment rate falling to an 18-month low of 3.8%. Good job growth coming through, not only in education and health, which has been one of the standouts over the last year, but also in retail and business services and even manufacturing. So these are positive signs for growth in the US economy. Wage growth up a little bit, but nothing to really worry about. Now, if we also look at what else was happening in the markets, we heard the news that the US and the North Korean talks look like they are back on the table. It's just over a week away, so we'll probably hear a lot of that coming through and impacting the media this week. And we also had still concerns about what's happening in the US with their trade negotiations with China, but at least that had eased on Friday and might rear its ugly head today because there has been a lot of commentary over the weekend in the press over what could prevail in the next week or two. Now, we also saw that Google continued its strong run. Last week we saw it lifting, as well as Facebook, on the expectations there'll be stronger money or more money being spent on online advertising because of the new rules and regulations that have come through on privacy in the European Union, which means that you can't really directly market people unless they've opted in to your marketing. So people are trying to figure out a way of actually tackling that by the fact that they'll probably look at putting more ads on Google and Facebook and the like. We also saw Costco coming through. One of the big announcements is that they are lifting their minimum wage for 130,000 of their staff. And this, as well as the fact that they did say that some of their sales were a little bit weaker than expected in the last quarter, saw the share price falling slightly on Friday. Having a look at those commodity markets, well, the gold price continued to slide as the US dollar gained a bit of momentum, down around $6 an ounce, now just below 1,300 US an ounce, and the oil price giving back nearly 2%, back to 65.71 US a barrel. The Australian market this morning is set at the moment, if you look at the SPI futures index, for a 34-point slide, but we have to take into account those falls in the commodity prices and how that'll impact our market today, so maybe not as strong as that at the start of trade. And the Aussie dollar at the moment, 75.55 US cents.